Jason Work has been covering the inquest in Melfort all week. He joins us now. Jason, what else did you hear today?
Natasha, it was an eventful, emotional day after an eventful, emotional week here in Melfort at the inquest into the James Smith Cree Nation mass stabbing incident. Again, 11 people were killed, 17 wounded. A number of those families have been here all week listening to this extremely heavy testimony. Many people hugging and crying, clearly emotional, taking advantage of the emotional support workers, the mental health supports, the elders who are here. Today, we heard from a forensic psychologist who looked at the file after the incident, looked at the file of killer Myles Sanderson, and concluded that he experienced a tremendous amount of early childhood trauma that progressed throughout his life and led to addictions, led to paranoia, led to this escalating violence, and then unfortunately to this tragedy. He's saying that Myles Sanderson developed these thoughts in his head that became less and less rational, and that was the psychological basis. Then we went to a police officer who had pieced together all of these 11 killings, and he talked about how this was not a random disorganized killing spree. This, in Myles Sanderson's head, in his paranoid, delusional mind, was rational. And he had these grievances, he called them, with all of the people he killed and the people that were connected to them that it was. And these weren't necessarily rational. These were perceived things in his head. And it was the basis for this tragedy. After that, in the side room off the main auditorium, we heard for the first time from Myles Sanderson's former partner. And she talked about this life with him, this life of abuse, this life of shame that led her to stay with him. And but she said that this inquest, as difficult as it is, Natasha, it's allowing her to understand a little bit more about Myles Sanderson, but about her own life and why she did or didn't do the things she did throughout her own life. She was pleading for better support services for people with people who have suffered from domestic violence. She says they felt like they were often on their own. But she said she wants better supports for people who commit domestic violence because it's often a cycle that occurred generations before as well. And so she said she actually feels, not to excuse him, but she feels sorry in a way for Myles Sanderson.
It seems like we've covered so much ground already. What else can we expect next week?
There is expected to be more testimony from community members, more RCMP. We'll also hear some broader testimony about the issues. This week it's been very heavy, very emotional testimony about what actually happened and the actual people involved, the perpetrator, the victims, the responders. We're expected to, as the coroner said, get over the hump now and start to talk more about issues rather than these traumatic incidents and the people involved. And so we're looking at some people that will talk about addictions, some other people that will talk about self-policing on First Nations communities, and a host of other issues.
Thank you for that, Jason. And we'll be looking for Jason's coverage as this continues into next week. That's Jason Work reporting from Melfort.